Let me show you why, as a communicator, you need to use stories to drive your message. When we communicate with our audience, we're not just trying to convey information, because the main goal in communication is connection. We want to make them feel something that makes them do something. No one does this better than Apple. And if Apple does it, I want to study it, because let's be honest, they're pretty good at what they do. So let's look at how Apple sells their iPhone. Here's what they don't do. The new iPhone costs $1,000. It has a 6.1-inch OLED screen. With the new A18 chip, it has the new 48MP Fusion camera. It has 4K Dolby Vision video recording and shoots from 24 to 60 frames per second, and it operates on Apple's newest iOS 18. You don't get excited over that. You don't want to buy that. But if you watch the commercial, it doesn't even say anything about the iPhone. It tells a story. It opens up on some goofy dude in an office building, and he's the kind of guy that you look at, you're like, how does this guy even have a job here? But thanks to Apple Intelligence, he's able to take his awful email and transform it to a beautiful, compelling message to his boss that makes him think he's a competent employee. Apple is selling an iPhone, but they're promising intelligence. Another example of Apple's mastery of marketing is in how they promote Apple Pay. They don't just say it's more convenient than the use of traditional credit cards. No, they show it through the use of stories. The commercial opens up with a woman at a grocery store who's checking out and going through the cumbersome process of checking out with a physical credit card. And they try to make a joke saying how difficult this process is, when in actuality, you just take your card out, you put it in, it's good to go, it beeps, you pull it out, you're good. But they make it seem like it's such a hassle, such an ordeal to check out with a physical credit card. And this really shows how Apple thinks they're superior to the rest of their competitors. But in the background, we see a younger, more sophisticated gentleman walk up, scan with his fancy Apple Pay, and he's able to check out in almost immediately. Apple is promoting their Apple Pay service, but it's promising ease and simplicity. The last example is how Apple markets their Safari browser. And I guess I haven't actually been sold on this one because I don't actually use Safari. But anyways, the commercial shows a number of individuals who are using their smartphones to browse the internet but are being spied on in the process. Whether they're shopping or planning a trip or just casually browsing, they're trying to make a point that every time you get on the internet, you're being watched, which it's kind of weird. But insert the smarter Apple customers who are using their Safari browser, and it stops all the spying and they're able to surf the internet in privacy. Apple is pushing their Safari browser, but they're selling privacy. Apple pays people millions of dollars a year to market their products and company as a whole, and a main piece of their marketing model is all about telling stories. So here are some key takeaways and maybe some reasons why you should tell more stories. Stories communicate indirect messages that are attractional. In the iPhone commercial, the employee is just an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing, and yet through the use of Apple Intelligence, the iPhone, he's able to appear to be better and smarter than he is. So as the consumer, I'm led to believe that if Apple can do that for him, then an iPhone can do that for me. So I want that. Apple doesn't necessarily have to say that for it to be communicated. Stories are relatable. Stories are connective. Another takeaway is that people buy value. These commercials hardly even discuss what the product actually does, but it's very clear in communicating a value that if you buy this product, you will get this value. Remember the words that I said, Apple is selling this product, whether an iPhone, Apple Pay, or Safari, but it's selling you privacy. It's selling you simplicity. It's selling you intelligence. We buy value more than products, and stories are able to communicate value better than statements. Apple believes that if they can tell you a story that demonstrates the value that their product can give you, then we will happily buy their products. Which brings us to you. How can you bring this storytelling approach to what it is that you do? If you sell a product, sell value. Tell a story about how your product has brought value to someone else. If you're trying to get someone to join your team, sell value. Tell a story of how your team has added value to their members. If you're interviewing for a job, sell value. Tell a story about how you have added value in the past and how you can expect to add value to this current context. Stories connect more than statements. So tell more stories. As a communicator, how can you include more stories in your conversations and presentations? If it's good enough for Apple, it's probably good enough for you. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't yet, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would like this video, comment down below, or even subscribe to the channel, as we are on a mission to create a community of people who want to communicate in a way that people want to listen to. And if you're looking for another video to watch, this is a great one.